y'all waiting. Anyways, with that, we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, let's get this party started. As a reminder, this is a public meeting and is being recorded for those calling in. Please ensure that you have muted your phone line by pressing *6. We appreciate your cooperation. First of all, we want to acknowledge that National Reentry Week is this week, April 24th through April 30th. It's always the last week of April, which is designated as Second Chance Month. This week is intended to both celebrate restored and returning citizens and to promote the necessity of successful reentry strategies. More than 600,000 people are released from incarceration nationally every year. Effective reentry strategies are critical in the fight against poverty and racial injustice. This week gives justice-involved citizens opportunities to be linked to social services, workforce development, employers, and employers looking to hire. Another goal of this week is to raise awareness for the need for effective strategies. If you'd like to read more about this week, you can go to centralohioreentryweek.com. That's centralohioreentryweek.com. And note that capitalizations were only, that was this for me. Okay, thank you very much. I do want to say something about Reentry Week, because if you don't happen to know anyone who has been incarcerated, then maybe you might not make the connection here. But many of you know that Franklin County is building a new correctional facility, and we have spent several $100 million to do that. And it's never something to celebrate to build a new correction facility. You know, we'd like to build more schools, more housing, more employment opportunities, but unfortunately, there are people who are in crisis situations and scenarios that land themselves behind bars. And our job is to not only facilitate the due process that is embedded in that crisis situation, but to really find ways and opportunities to support people for what they might need, whether it's mental health services or other resources that might help get them on track. And that's really what Reentry Week is about. It is about a second chance, a second opportunity in life. And so if you happen to be listening and you know someone that has been incarcerated, or you personally have been incarcerated, you understand and know the value and importance of a second chance. And we should all be thoughtful enough to want to embrace the opportunity for a second chance in life. And so I just hope that there's someone out there that's listening that will access the resources that are available to them. And again, I just want to encourage you, go to centralohioreentryweek.com. That's Central Ohio Reentry Week, to learn more and join us in our efforts. Thank you very much. All right. Next, we want to take a minute to recognize a woman who spends her days fighting on behalf of others. Deputy County Administrator Joy Bivens is now, and for years, has been a champion for Franklin County residents who go unheard and those who go without food, without medicine, quality child care. She is and has been a fierce advocate for thousands of families shut out of the benefits because the federal standards claim that they make too much money. Yet it's clear that they have no possible way of affording these key necessities. I got to tell you personally, I've had so many constituents that have hit that wall, and the person I go to is Joy Bivens to say, hey, I've got this constituent, resident, we need to figure out something. And she says, this is what she always says, I'm on it, boss. And then I never hear from her again because I know that situation has been handled. I know she handles it with care and passion. And so thank you. Deputy County Administrator Bivens is tireless and altruistic. These are all reasons why she is being recognized with the 2022 YWCA Women of Achievement. We have a ceremonial resolution for you today, but before we do that, I know my colleagues and the county administrator have thoughts they would want to share. I know we don't have all of our colleagues not on today, right? But I know I would speak on behalf of them and say that you are valued, you are appreciated, and we see you as an extension of ourselves. We know that you connect with our passions with yours. and the needs of Franklin County. And that's where your work really, that's where the rubber meets the road. And if we could all just work as hard as you, be as dedicated as you, and committed as you, we know that Franklin County will be better tomorrow than it is today. And so we just appreciate you in every way. And congratulations, a well-deserved, probably long overdue recognition. And so congratulations. And so let me open it up. Administrator Wilson.
Thank you, Commissioner Boyce. I'll be brief. When I think of joy, I think of the people's champion. Boxers wear these belts with shiny objects attached to them to signify the glory of being the best. But when it comes to people, you are the people's champion. You represent that every day in what you do. You will literally give someone the coat off your back. As county administrator, there's numerous times where if you can't help someone, you'll call me and say, hey, I need you to help this person or connect this person. Or they will call and say, yeah, I've talked with Deputy Administrator Joy Bivens, and here's what I need, and how can the county be able to help. You are a very thoughtful, caring person. You are one of the most passionate people about public service that I've ever had the pleasure to work with. So you are very deserving of this Women of Achievement Award. And this is just the beginning. Just got to get you to slow down a little bit, so we don't want you to run out, because this is truly a marathon, and you are one of those champions in this marathon we're running to help every resident every day. So congratulations, it's well deserved.
All right, any other comments? I don't know who's on.
Yeah, this is Commissioner Crowley, if everyone can hear me okay. I just want to add to what Commissioner Boyce and Administrator Wilson already said about DCA Bivens. She is such a phenomenal woman, and she is always about the people. Since I've been at the county, there's been times I've called her on right before Christmas because I got a call from a constituent and there was an issue. Or there was another constituent issue, and she is the roll your sleeves up, get it done type of person. And to your point, Commissioner Boyce, like, you'll tell her about something and then you won't hear from her again. She's like, got it, boss, and she's on it and it's handled, and you have that reassurance. No, there's no one else more deserving than DCA Bivens for this YWCA Woman of Achievement Award. Definitely deserved. And I always say that I have the great fortune of working with some pretty amazing people at Franklin County, and she is definitely one of them. And so thank you, DCA Bivens, for all that you do for Franklin County residents, so everyone has the opportunity to thrive and not just survive. Thank you for your service.
All right. Are we going to present a resolution or no? We have a resolution? We don't have it?
Commissioner, I do believe it's to your left.
Oh, it's back here. Do you want it? You want to? Let's do it. Yeah. Yeah. You want to say some words?
First of all, thank you.
Come to the podium, because the people on they're listening need to hear what you have to say. Those are the rules.
First of all, I want to thank you all so much. And when boss when he called the other day and was like, I need everybody in general session. I'm like, I'm always in general session. I'm online. And I was like, okay, this was a surprise. So thank you, and I am very grateful. The work that I feel that I'm called to do is not work. I feel like it is my life's mission to make sure that every resident, every day, from cradle to grave, get what they need. And I think it's an obligation to our community, whether it is your job or not, because it doesn't cost to care. So with that, I just say thank you, and I thank you to the commissioners for always being so gracious, for always looking over my missteps. I know my passion sometimes gets me in trouble, but I promise you it's from a good place. I was not expecting to take a picture today because I didn't go put my heels on, because I like these shoes, because I like to run up and down the steps and do other things that I don't tell my boss about. So if we take a picture, I need it from the head up. Ross, And you gotta tell me when to suck it in so I don't die, hold my breath. All right, thank you, everybody.
The one thing I want to say, I do want to just recognize, we do have a really good group of administrators, and our deputy, from our administrator to our deputy administrators. I've had the fortune of serving at a variety of levels of government, and I think this is a very competent, caring, passionate team, all of you, every last one of you. And I know that sometimes, I know I'm never a pain in the rear end to any of you, but I know when sometimes, Janine Humber's laughing because she, but I will say this, even when I can go at something a little bit from a different angle, we'll just say, harsher angle perhaps, this is important. I trust you. I trust you all. And there are times when you come to me and you say, and that's so critical, it's so critical in public service, to have trust for people who are ordained with the authority to make decisions on behalf of millions of people. And to have that trust is something that is not given, it's earned. And I want to say that to you and all of the administrators that are a part of our fabulous team, that that is just something that is crucial to this process. And I want to just encourage you to continue what you're doing, continue the passion, continue in the passionate way that you do work. Not a one of you are not sincere and extremely passionate about your work, whatever your areas of focus are. And I think that is a thing of beauty. It is something awesome to watch from my seat. And it makes, I know I speak on behalf of Commissioner O'Grady and Commissioner Crawley when I say that, it makes us, you guys make us look good. And so thank you.
You got to crop her feet. Remember, you better not. You better not. You better not. She said, don't do that. Hard as heck. If you pull this off.
All right, let's dive right into this agenda. Is there approval of the minutes for the March 29th, April 5th, 2022 general sessions, and March 31st, April 7th, 2022 briefing sessions, and the March 30th, 2022 administrative briefing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Thank you. The minutes have been approved.
Thank you. First up is Domestic Relations Court.
Resolution number 31422. Resolution authorizing a non-general fund supplemental appropriation for the purchase of a replacement vehicle.
Good morning, Commissioners. Barb Reeves, Deputy Director. This resolution is requesting a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $38,000 for the replacement of a vehicle, which will be funded by the Ohio Department of Youth Services. Pending any questions, the court requests the approval of this resolution.
Okay, if there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of Resolution 314-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 31422 has been adopted. Resolution number 31522. Resolution authorizing a contract with Ohio Guidestone in the amount of $23,000.
With me this morning is Cynthia Van Cleve, our Recovery Court Director, to speak to this resolution. This resolution is requesting the approval of a contract in the amount of $23,000 with the Ohio Guidestone to provide supervised visitation services for parents in our Family Recovery Court. And Cynthia can now share a little bit of information about this program.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ohio Guidestone will Visitation and work with the parent towards preparation for their children to return home and be reunited. Additionally, they will coach, mentor, redirect, observe, assist, and share the strengths and weaknesses of the parent with the court in order for parents to be successful and be able to handle behaviors of the children appropriately. Pending any questions, the court requests the approval of this resolution.
Thank you. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 315-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 315-22 has been adopted. Resolution number 316-22. Resolution authorizing a First Amendment to the 2022 grant agreement with the Ohio Department of Youth Services in the amount of $35,000.
This last resolution is requesting several changes to our 2022 grant agreement with the Ohio Department of Youth Services. These changes include increasing the budget by $35,000 due to an increase in the number of youth on electronic monitoring. Additionally, there's a realignment of funds within 3 programs to add term vacation, sick leave compensation, overtime, unemployment, workers' compensation, training, staff training for mental health in the juvenile justice system, and materials for youth in the TAPS program. Pending any questions, the court requests the approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 316-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 316-22 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Next, we have the engineer. We have a public hearing. Can the clerk please read the public hearing?
Resolution regarding establishing, altering, and widening of Renner Road, County Road number 27, from Alton and Darby Creek Road, County Road number 272, to Spindler Road, County Road number 153, Norwich Township, Franklin County, Ohio, viewed, engineer to file plans as necessary.
I'd like to open up the public hearing for this resolution. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak on this public hearing? We have no speaker sip, so seeing that there are none, I'd like to close the public hearing and have the clerk read the resolution into the record.
Resolution number 340-22, establishing, altering, and widening of Renner Road, County Road number 27, from Alton and Darby Creek Road, County Road number 272, to Spindler Road, County Road number 153, Norwich Township, Franklin County, Ohio, viewed, engineer to file plans as necessary.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Nick Soulis, Government Affairs Liaison for County Engineer Cornell Robertson. I'll be presenting these 3 resolutions before you this morning. This first resolution, Commissioner, relates to Renner Road. On March 29, 2022, this board adopted a resolution declaring necessary the Renner Road from Alton and Darby Creek Road to Spindler Road Improvement Project. On April 19, 22, the board viewed said improvement project. This resolution authorizes the engineer to prepare plans as necessary for the construction of this project and represents the second step in the legislative process. It is located in western Franklin County, and this is a Franklin County Transportation Improvement District project that includes multiple private project partners and seeks to improve Renner Road with the addition of a 2-way left turn lane, drainage upgrades, and pedestrian infrastructures. So pending any questions, we request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 340-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 340-22 has been adopted.
We have another public hearing notice. Can the clerk please read the public hearing?
Resolution regarding plans approved for the 2022 resurfacing program for various Franklin County roads, Franklin County, Ohio.
Critical stuff. I'd like to open up the public hearing for this resolution. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak on this public hearing? We have no speaker slips, so seeing that there are none, I'd like to close the public hearing and have the clerk read the resolution into the record.
Resolution number 341-22. Plans approved for the 2022 resurfacing program for various Franklin County roads, Franklin County, Ohio.
Commissioners, this resolution seeks plan approval for the 2022 resurfacing program for various Franklin County roads. Plans, specifications, and estimates have been prepared and approved by the county engineer. The next step will be to schedule a bid opening as the project is scheduled to begin in late spring of 22. So pending any questions, we ask for your approval this morning.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 341-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 341-22 has been adopted.
Okay. We have another public hearing. Can the clerk please read the public hearing?
Resolution regarding plans approved for the improvement of Ferris Road, County Road number 172 at Walford Street, Clinton Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
At this time, I'd like to open up the public hearing for this resolution. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak to this public hearing? Seeing that there are none, I'd like to close the public hearing and have the clerk read the resolution into the record.
Resolution number 342-22, plans approved for the improvement of Ferris Road, County Road number 172 at Walford Street, Clinton Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
Commissioners, this resolution authorizes plan approval for the Ferris Road at Walford Street Improvement Project. This project is located in the North Linden area of Columbus in Clinton Township and seeks to convert a signalized intersection to a mini roundabout utilizing ODOT safety funding. Construction is scheduled for the summer of 22. So pending any questions, we request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 342-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 342-22 has been adopted.
Thank you so much, Commissioners, and congratulations to Joy Bivens, one of my favorite clients.
Thank you. Next, we have the prosecuting attorney.
Resolution number 317-22, resolution authorizing joint stabilization service program and memorandum of understanding between Franklin County Treasurer and Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services.
I'm Mary Johnson. I'm Chief Counsel for the Tax Division of the Prosecutor's Office. I'm here to present the resolution authorizing joint stabilization service program and a memorandum of understanding between the County Treasurer and the Board of Commissioners on behalf of Department of Job and Family Services. It's timely that we're presenting this morning in that it involves Job and Family Services. The goal of the joint stabilization program is so that the Treasurer combined with JFS can identify the public as they come in that is either at risk for foreclosure or is in foreclosure, so that they can be linked to whatever governmental and private opportunities there are to assist them to either get on a payment plan or get out of foreclosure. With JFS, they can identify them for all the state and federal programs. We hate to see people come into the Treasurer's office and not be linked to those important benefits that are out there. The memorandum of understanding just creates the terms of how that program will work between JFS and the Treasurer. Are there any questions?
If there are no questions, move for adoption of 317-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 317-22 has been adopted. Resolution number 318-22, resolution authorizing contract extension number 1 for title insurance services in the amount of $300,000.
Commissioners, this resolution is for the title services that are used by the county prosecutor to prepare the foreclosure actions to collect delinquent taxes. It was done by bid last year. This is an extension of that contract for 1 year with the same vendors.
Okay. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 318-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 318-22 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Resolution number 319-22, resolution authorizing the settlement of a disputed legal claim arising from the provision of snow removal services to the county and authorizing the county administrator to execute documents necessary to effectuate the settlements.
Good morning, Commissioners. Janine Hummer, First Assistant and Chief Counsel of the Civil Division. You have before you Resolution 31922, which is a recommendation from the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office to approve a settlement for services rendered by an entity during the winter season for snow removal. Unfortunately, when services were rendered here, there was not contracting processes in place. However, the county did receive the benefit of these services, and therefore, to avoid unjust enrichment by the county, we are recommending approval of this settlement for the total amount of cost for snow removal services.
And Ms. Hummer, what is that amount?
I believe the amount is $140,000, and
I have the amount. County Administrator Kenneth Wilson, the amount is $40,657.75.
140,000.
$140,657.75.
And I'm just curious, so is this over the course of the season? And this person was doing snow removal and somehow the contract didn't get done right, but we know they were a part of the crew?
Yes, a very good question, Commissioner. We have verified all the work performed and the dates that work was performed, and you're correct, it was being performed unfortunately without the proper contract process in place.
And
Excellent.
Commissioners, if I could, that process has been reevaluated, and that will not happen in the future.
Yeah, that's my next question, thank you. Okay, are there any questions or comments? Move for adoption of 319-22. Thank you, Ms. Hummer.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 31922 has been adopted.
Thank you. Next is the sheriff.
Resolution number 320-22. Resolution authorizing a transfer of general fund appropriations for the purchase of equipment and supplies for the new James A. Carnes Correctional Center.
Good morning, Commissioners and County Administration. Albert Smith, Assistant Finance Director for the Sheriff's Office. This resolution authorizes a transfer of appropriations to purchase equipment and supplies from the new James A. Carnes Correctional Center that didn't fall under the scope of the project. Our office has already started the process to purchase these items with our current operating budget and need these appropriations replenished to continue daily operations. Pending any questions, I request passage of this resolution.
What's the amount? What's the amount, Bruce?
It's $590,000. I don't have the exact amount here in front of me.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, because my iPad is not loading, so I can't look at it. Please, Administrator Wilson.
Commissioner Boyce, the amount listed is $590,052.
Okay. Okay, all right. Are there any comments or questions? Seeing that there are none, move for adoption of 320-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 320-22 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Next, community partnerships.
Resolution number 32122. Resolution authorizing a one-year grant agreement with the Greater Columbus Arts Council in support of Franklin County artists, arts organizations, and cultural facilities in the amount of $4 million.
Good morning, Commissioners and County Administration. I'm Curtis Brown, Community Partnerships Coordinator. This morning's resolution is regarding the Arts and Culture Facilities Program Fund, which is facilitated by the Greater Columbus Arts Council on behalf of the Board of Commissioners. In the past, this $4 million fund has supported artists and organizations of all sizes, such as the Glass Axis, the Urban Strings Columbus, the Lincoln Theater, and the King Arts Complex. And I believe we have some guests on this morning joining us from the Greater Columbus Arts Council to discuss how these funds will benefit the organization. And others is President and CEO Tom Katzenmeyer and Executive Director from Maroon Arts Group, Sherry Neal. After Mr. Katzenmeyer and Ms. Neal's remarks, if there are no questions or comments, we respectfully request the approval of this resolution.
Is Tom on?
Do not see Tom on.
It's possible that they could not be on.
Commissioner,
Okay.
I do not see him on.
Okay.
Is Sherry on either? Sherry or Tom? Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll add here is that, the Greater Columbus Arts Council is our partner in ensuring, I don't want folks to look at this as just simply an investment of arts and entertainment. This is an investment in our creative economy, and the creative economy in Central Ohio is substantial and meaningful in the broader sense. I don't know off the top of my head what it is, but I know that it very much equates to bed tax receipts, sales receipts, and even income tax that really make up very much a part of the commerce that takes place every day in Central Ohio. And so we're grateful for the partnership with GCAC, the Greater Columbus Arts Council. And if there are no further comments or questions.
Commissioner Boyce, if I could add, I had the
Please,
opportunity
Curtis.
to speak with Mr. Katzenmeyer, and he was very appreciative in the past of this fund, and was able to give me some additional information of how the funding was used in the past. So very appreciative of this fund. So I'm apologizing he's not on this morning.
Okay, no worries. Thank you for that, Mr. Brown. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 321. I'm sorry, Commissioner Crawley, did you have any?
No,
Okay.
no additional comments. Thank you.
Move for adoption of 321-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 321-22 has been adopted.
Great,
Thank
thank you. Next is Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion.
Resolution number,
Sorry.
okay. Resolution number 322.
A little anxious this
22.
morning, aren't you? Yeah.
Resolution authorizing an agreement with Hub Community Development Corporation to support economic development and address agricultural needs in Black, Brown, and Indigenous communities.
I was ready. Good morning, Commissioners. D'Amica Withers, Chief Economic Equity and Inclusion Officer in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Commissioners, this resolution will approve $74,000 to the Hub Community Development Corporation to support agricultural opportunities in Black and Brown communities. This will allow the Hub Community Development Corporation to develop the Fresh Life Farmers Market that will provide a sustainable infrastructure to train, prepare, and employ youth and young adults in agriculture. The Fresh Life Farmers Market will also serve the far east side of the Franklin County community with fresh produce and opportunities to learn about farming. And we respectfully request your approval for this resolution, Commissioners.
So thrilled and excited about this resolution, and thrilled and excited about where it's going, where it's taking place at. I know if Commissioner Grady were here today, he would very passionately speak up about this. This is something I know he's been a champion of, and very much a voice for Central Ohio and community gardening. So if there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 322-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 322-22 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Next is Economic Development Planning.
Resolution number 323-22. Resolution authorizing a grant agreement with Impact Community Action to provide rental and utility assistance to residents in Franklin County in the amount of $1,500,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jenny Snap, Chief Operating Officer at Franklin County Economic Development and Planning. Today, I'm proud to bring you additional legislation solidifying the county's continued support of affordable housing, eviction prevention, and reduction of homelessness through the Emergency Rental Assistance Program with the U.S. Treasury. Impact Community Action has experience identifying solutions to housing challenges faced by the community in Central Ohio during the COVID-19 pandemic. They received $2 million in emergency rental assistance funds from Franklin County in March of 2021 and expended those funds by the end of Q3 in 2021. They were able to assist 1,016 households with Franklin County Emergency Rental Assistance 1 funds at an average of $2,554 of rental assistance per household. They have also received emergency rental assistance funds from both the City of Columbus and the State of Ohio and have been the primary provider as the community action agency assisting households with rental and utility assistance in Franklin County. Under this agreement for $1,500,000, Impact Community Action will provide rental and utility assistance as well as housing stabilization services to as many as 375 additional households, individuals, and families impacted by COVID-19 while working to identify solutions to housing challenges faced by these residents in Franklin County. The households served are anticipated to consist of clients who are either at or below 80% of the area median income based on their last 90 days of household income and have also experienced adverse financial impacts during or due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This agreement will be supported by funds awarded to Franklin County from the U.S. Department of the Treasury through the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. And to note, this portion of the U.S. Treasury ERA funds are through the second tranche of funding. Bo Chilton, CEO of Impact Community Action, and Shamikia Smith, Vice President of Housing at Impact, are in attendance should you have any questions. And pending any questions, I would request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, may it speak for itself. Thank you so much for that, Ms. Snap. If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 323-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 323-22 has been adopted. Resolution number 324-22, working agreement between Franklin County Soil and Water Conservation District and the Franklin County Board of Commissioners on behalf of Franklin County Economic Development and Planning Department in the amount of $54,000.
This resolution seeks to approve a working agreement with the Franklin Soil and Water Conservation District. The previous 2021 working agreement was passed by the Board of County Commissioners on January 26, 2021 by resolution number 0061-21 for the time period of January 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2021. This working agreement will be for the time period of January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022 in the amount of $54,000. The agreement is to provide assistance to Franklin County in meeting Ohio EPA's small municipal separate storm sewer systems general permit requirements for construction site stormwater control and post-construction stormwater management. In addition, the Soil and Water Conservation District provides natural resources services to the Economic Development and Planning Department for development proposals and planning activities. Pending any questions, I would request your approval of this agreement.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 324-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 324-22 has been adopted. Resolution number 325-22, review of petition to annex 7.67 acres more or less from Clinton Township to the City of Columbus, case number ANX-18-22.
Commissioners, this resolution is to consider an expedited type 2 annexation petition of 7.67 acres from Clinton Township to the City of Columbus. The area to be annexed includes property located at 824 to 880 Kinnear Road and 858 Kinnear Road. That's north of Kinnear Road, west of Kenny Road, south of Woody Hayes Drive, and east of State Route 315. The petition was filed by agent and attorney Jackson B. Reynolds III of Smith & Hale. And for the record, both Jack Reynolds and Jeff Brown, attorneys at law of Smith & Hale, are in attendance should you have any questions, on behalf of the owner Livingston Limited Incorporated. 42% of the site's perimeter is contiguous to the City of Columbus, and the city passed ordinance number 0927-2022 on April 4th, 2022, indicating the services that will be provided once the annexation is approved, and a statement regarding incompatible land uses and the zoning buffer. The petition does meet all statutory requirements outlined in section 709.021 of the Ohio Revised Code. And pending any questions, we will request your approval of this resolution. And for the record, I believe you have a speaker slip for this particular annexation, and I believe Jeff Brown and Jackson Reynolds would like to speak following the speaker slip. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Snap. Madam Clerk, is there a speaker slip, and could you please read the rules for our speaker?
Yes, Commissioner, we do have a speaker slip and a speaker present in person here today. Speakers, in terms of the rules, if you would like to, Ms. Betty, we have Ms. Betty Stragle here. Speakers may contain their remarks to 3 minutes, a maximum of 3 minutes, which you will be timed. And speaker remarks may not contain any obscenity, commercial advertising, defamation, or slander, nor will speakers conduct themselves in violation of the disorderly conduct or the disturbing a public meeting provision of the Ohio Revised Code. All comments will be directed to the Board of Commissioners. Permission to speak may be denied or terminated if remarks are disrespectful or antagonistic. General session is not an adversarial meeting. Okay. And with that, it will begin whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I respectfully request that this board postpone their consideration of Resolution 0325-22 on the annexation of 7.67 acres from Clinton Township to the City of Columbus for 60 days so that Tri-Village Investments LLC has time to review this matter and negotiate with its landlord, Livingston Limited, Inc., who is the property owner and the landlord for us. Given Livingston Limited, Inc. did not provide notice of this annexation to its only tenant on parcel 130-011-844-0, and given the tenant per its lease agreement is responsible for the real estate taxes, and given the tenant will be negatively impacted by this annexation, I am requesting the board's postponement of their consideration of Resolution 0325-22.
Thank you for your testimony today. I want to begin by just saying that we definitely value and appreciate the time that you've taken to be here today, and certainly will consider your request. That being said, Ms. Snap, you said the attorneys and the representatives for the client are they available? So I'd like to give them an opportunity to respond to the questions, in particular, the notice, a lack of a notice provided, as well as I think that was it. I have a question for the witness, but
Commissioner Boyce, if I may, I apologize for interrupting. I do have another letter that was sent in opposition of this resolution that I would like to read into the record because they are not present today.
why don't we do that in? Let's take
Okay.
this witness, let's finish up with her, and then I think, is there another witness online?
No,
Or that
Commissioner,
It's just a
they-
letter, okay, then
Yes.
we'll finish with her, and then we'll do the letter at the end.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you.
Is Jeff or Jackson available?
Correct, Commissioner.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Jack Reynolds, and I'm here with Jeff Brown. And as Jenny indicated, we have met the requirements under the Ohio Revised Code under 709-2021. Livingston Limited, Inc. is the property owner of record in the auditor's office, and they have signed the annexation petition. There is nothing in the Ohio Revised Code that requires the tenant to be a part of the annexation process. So as Jenny indicated, we have met all of the requirements under the Ohio Revised Code. If there is any issue, it's between the landlord and the tenant. But in terms of the process before you this morning, we have complied with the Ohio Revised Code in terms of providing you with the requirements under 709-021 for annexing this property to the City of Columbus. And I can answer any questions, but as a part of the application, we did include the authorization to sign on behalf of the owner's entity. So we feel that we have complied and respectfully ask for you to approve the annexation this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brown, did you want to offer anything as well?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. The only thing that I'll respond to that, and I know you two both are very much annexation and zoning experts in Central Ohio, probably two of the best, I'd say. But you also know that the relations that the companies have with the community is just critical and important. And so why not notify if you're annexing? Why not just share that with the tenant? And is there something that would prohibit that from a legal standpoint? And then secondly, the witness mentioned the ability to negotiate, and I'm not sure what elements need to be negotiated at that point, but even if this is adopted, is there a willingness to sit down with the tenant to listen deep to their deeper concerns? Because if they're negatively impacted by it, I mean, maybe there's nothing you can do, and you have to represent the best interest of your clients, but maybe it's something that's not that big and can be addressed. So if you could just respond to that.
Yes, Commissioner Boyce, this is Jeff Brown. We would be happy to meet with our tenant. But as Jack's indicated, under the state law, the requirement is for the property owner to sign the petition, which in this case has occurred, and we've met all the statutory requirements. But as you know, if the commissioners would approve the resolution, it is then sent to the city clerk who has to hold it for 60 days. So there is already an existing time period between your action and city council action on the annexation that my client can sit down and have a conversation with the tenant, and we would be happy to arrange that.
Thank you. To the witness, you mentioned that you all would be negatively impacted. Maybe talk a little more about what that negative impact is.
We're currently in Clinton Township. There is no income tax, municipal income tax in Clinton Township. Columbus is a much larger city, less accessible to its public officials. I mean, coming downtown is a pretty intimidating thing for individuals like myself. So it's just the demeanor and the setup, Clinton Township versus Columbus. And this, as I said, took us totally unawares, and was totally by happenstance that we were even aware of it. And we are the only tenant on one of the two parcels that they are approaching you on annexing into Columbus. And we are responsible as the tenant per our lease agreement to pay the real estate taxes. The real estate taxes will go up just because of the coding that is for this particular property and what it will be going into Columbus. So there's several negative impacts to us that we are aware by this annexation. And and I appreciate your comments because they are to the heart of this, per our lease agreement, to not even be notified, and we are the only tenant on that parcel. Just, it to me is very disrespectful.
Yeah, this is one of those scenarios where, unfortunately, I don't want to speak for Commissioner Crawley. She may have a better perspective from a legal standpoint, but I feel that, from my standpoint, compliance with what the Ohio Revised Code said is the core consideration. Are we in line with what the Ohio Revised Code requires for annexation? We've been advised by the prosecuting attorney's office that we are in line. They are in line with those requirements. However, I want to strongly encourage and suggest to the applicant to sit down with the witness in a very sincere fashion to see where perhaps even as this goes before the city, some type of considerations can be thought of and at least discussed. You know, with the tax situation, I just can't speak to that. That's going to be the City of Columbus income tax. You know, we don't collect that, they do. However, you know, I think your questions about what was in your lease agreement with the client, those are things that have to be addressed in a legal fashion as well. We're not that, unfortunately. And I, you know, my experience with these two gentlemen at least is that they are very sincere and authentic folks. I know they'll be representing their client, but I know they will, if you say, Mr. Reynolds, Mr. Brown, if you say you're going to meet with them and encourage your client to meet with them in a sincere way, I trust that. You have no reason, I have no reason to believe you wouldn't do that. And I just want to say, I think that would be the appropriate action. And unfortunately, though, you know, they're in compliance with what the state law requires. And so we're kind of, where there would be no reason to object to this at this point. You know, if there were, I'd certainly be the first to object because I think your perspective is a legitimate perspective. So it's my understanding that you two are going to meet with the applicant and see where there might be, you're going to listen and figure out what might be able to be done. Ms. Hummer, did you want to add anything here? Okay. So again, thank you for coming down today. I know it's intimidating. Heck, I get intimidated to come down. I live down here. It is tough. So I know when folks don't come down here, I know how tough it can be, and I wish it weren't that way. We have to do a better job of making it more inviting and easy to navigate downtown. So thank you for coming down today, and we sincerely appreciate your testimony.
Well, thank you.
Commissioner Crawley, did you have any questions, comments?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. Obviously, legally speaking, there's no way for us to object. It meets the statutory requirements. But I do think, you know, just legally speaking, even though, I mean, you have a contract with a tenant and though it's not required by law, I think what the objectors were just really getting at is like having a conversation, and maybe obviously that could have taken shape prior to this coming before the board, but I'm excited that the attorneys are willing to sit down with the tenants and work through whatever issues there are before it gets to council. But always would love to see those that happen prior to, and maybe they might not have objected today. So just wanted to underscore what you said, Commissioner Boyce. I'm glad the attorneys are willing to meet.
Sure. Thank you so much for being here today. Yep. Madam Clerk, if you want to read, I know there was another letter to the board.
That's correct, Commissioner. Thank you. This letter is from Tom Fortin, and he states the following. Tri-Village Investments, LLC, has a binding master lease and a right of first refusal to purchase the subject property. We may exercise our right of first refusal to purchase the property and may wish not to annex the subject property. We also master lease the subject property and pay the real estate taxes, utilities, services, etc., which may increase in cost to us if annexed. Therefore, we strongly request this annexation be declined or the or the hearing at a minimum be postponed. This process will be legally contested. The landlord does not have the right to annex his property since it has been master leased in 1984 and amended in 2003 to us, and he has provided an exclusive right to lease and a first refusal to buy the property for up to the year 2064. I respectfully request the Franklin County Board of Commissioners decline or at least postpone their consideration of Resolution 32522 on the annexation of 7.67 acres more or less from Clinton Township to the City of Columbus for 60 days so that Tri-Village Investments, LLC, has time to review this matter and negotiate with its landlord, Livingston Limited Incorporated, the property owner. Given Livingston Limited Incorporated did not provide notice of this annexation to its only tenant on parcel 130-0-11844-00, and given the tenant, per its lease agreement with its landlord, is responsible for the real estate taxes on parcel 130-011-844-00, and given the tenant has the right to purchase this property and may oppose the annexation, I am requesting the board's postponement on their consideration of Resolution 32522. Thank you. And then there's a note that says TFRF Family LLC is a partner of Tri-Village Investments LLC, and Thomas Fortin is the managing member of that entity.
Thank you. I want to thank the person for the submission of the letter to the attorneys, if they're still on. I think the question I've got is, and I don't know, this might be for Ms. Hummer or the prosecuting attorney, but does an annexation trigger a first right of refusal? It seemed to me that would be in a sale transaction versus a annexation. So can you
Yes,
speak to that?
you're correct, Commissioner. The annexation itself does not trigger the portion of the lease relative to the right of first refusal. It would be an offer to sell that would trigger that.
And so to the attorneys, is this a sale pending? Is there something that's behind that?
We're unaware of anything that would trigger that particular cause. As Ms. Hummer indicated, that's only triggered when there is a offer for sale. And again, the witness that appeared in front of you, and we are looking at the amendment to a net ground lease that Mr. Fortin provided. The county, in the recitals, it acknowledges that our client is owns fee simple title to the land. And so that gives that party the power to sign the petition, and which is what has occurred for this annexation. And to our best knowledge, looking through all the documents that we were provided with this morning, there is no reference or prohibition in these leases as it relates to an annexation action. So as everybody has pointed out, we have complied with the statutory requirements. We will have a meeting with these two entities that appeared and have that discussion between now and City Council action.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Commissioner Carley, do you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you.
Okay. Well, again, I want to thank both the witnesses that are here today and the ones that have written in. Certainly, your comments and perspective are taken very seriously. We don't take it lightly. And I want to say to the attorneys that are representing the petitioner here, we appreciate your willingness to meet with the lessees here and see what we can do to work with them best we can. Again, I think Commissioner Crawley hit the nail on the head. We always prefer this kind of thing to happen before it gets here, because even if it doesn't come out in their favor, at least the parties can have discussed it in a sincere and authentic fashion. And so we move forward based on what we have to do given the standard of the law. And so with that, if there are no further comments or questions, I move for adoption of 325-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 32522 has been adopted. Resolution number 32622. Resolution to authorize the detachment of 0.75 acres, more or less, from the City of Columbus, case number ANX-21-22.
This resolution is to consider a detachment of 0.75 acres from the City of Columbus to Perry Township. This resolution will allow for the removal of land from the municipal boundary of the City of Columbus. The area to be detached includes property located at 1700 West Case Road, that's north of West Case, east of Sawmill Road, south of West Dublin Granville Road, and west of Go Down Road. The petition was filed by the owners Adam Rellinger and Margaret Kelly on behalf of themselves. Chet Cheney, Perry Township Trustee, and Beth Beatty, Perry Township Administrator, are in attendance should you have any questions. A petition signed by the majority of the electors owning land in the territory to be detached, requesting detachment under Section 709.38 of the Ohio Revised Code, accompanied by an accurate plat of the area to be detached, an ordinance from the City of Columbus consenting to the detachment, was filed with Franklin County on March 21st, 2022. Council of the City of Columbus authorized the detachment by ordinance number 2524-2021, passed on October 18th, 2021. Petition was filed in accordance with and satisfies the criteria contained in section 709.38 of the Ohio Revised Code. Pending any questions, I would request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, we have no speaker slips. Move for adoption of 326-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 32622 has been adopted. Resolution number 32722. Resolution authorizing the Board of Franklin County Commissioners to sign the attached discharge of mortgage instrument for Joanne Solces at 3421 Woodlawn Avenue, Grove City, Ohio 43123.
Good morning, Commissioners. Joanne Soltes received on November 9, 2011 from Franklin County a home loan for $15,000 on real estate, commonly known as 3421 Woodlawn Avenue in Grove City. The requirements of the housing loan have been satisfied, and I respectfully request that the Commissioners approve the discharge of mortgage on this property.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 327-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 32722 has been adopted. Resolution number 32822. Resolution authorizing the Board of Franklin County Commissioners to sign the attached discharge of mortgage instrument for Janice Carnes at 1086 High Street, Township of Pleasant, Ohio 43126.
Janice Carnes received on November 10, 2011 from Franklin County a home loan for $8,270 on real estate, commonly known as 1086 High Street, Township of Pleasant. The requirements of the housing loan have been satisfied. The property taxes are paid and current, and I respectfully request the Commissioners approve the discharge of mortgage on this property.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 328-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 32822 has been adopted. Resolution number 32922. Resolution authorizing the Board of Franklin County Commissioners to sign the attached discharge of mortgage instrument for Carmen Rosa Toro Barrios at 1658 Rosemont Avenue, Columbus, Ohio 43223.
Carmen Rosa Toro Berrios received from Franklin County on April 23, 2019, a home loan for $4,222.50 on real estate, commonly known as 1658 Rosemont Avenue in Columbus. The requirements of the housing loan have been satisfied, and I respectfully request that Commissioners approve the discharge of mortgage on this property.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 329-22.
Second.
Thank you.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 32922 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oops. Next is Jobs and Family Services.
Resolution number 33022. Resolution authorizing Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services Director to enter into a memorandum of understanding and related amendments and extensions with Columbus State Community College for remote case management services.
Good morning, Commissioners. Vivian Turner, Assistant Director. By renewing our partnership with Columbus State Community College, we can continue to provide case management services for the school's 20,000 plus students. The case managers will assist in determining eligibility for SNAP, cash assistance, Medicaid, prevention, retention, and contingency emergency assistance, and other agency-administered benefits. The initial terms of this MOU began on January 1st and run through December 31st, 2022, and allows for renewal upon mutual agreement of both parties. The resolution also permits the Director to enter into related amendments and extensions. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 330-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 330-22 has been adopted.
Thank you, and congratulations to Deputy County Administrator Bivens.
Thank you. Next is Justice Policy and Programs.
Resolution number 331-22. Resolution authorizing the receipt of the FY 2021 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant and granting authority to the President of the Board of Commissioners to sign all acceptance documents and waivers related to the grant program in the amount of $46,753.47.
Good morning, Commissioners and Administration. Rochelle Pride, Director for the Office of Justice Policy and Programs. This resolution is presented to the Board of Commissioners for authorization to accept the FY 2021 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant in the amount of $11,688.37 from the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services as a pass-through from the United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance. The purpose of this grant is to provide specialized training to CASA volunteer guardians ad litem. This is the fourth and final year of step down for this project and requires a cash match, of 75% or $35,065.10 from Franklin County's general fund. Grant funds will be used to cover employee salaries and benefits associated with the specialized training of volunteers for a total amount of $46,753.47. Pending any questions, we would seek approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 331-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 331-22 has been adopted. Resolution number 332-22. Resolution authorizing 5 subgrant awards and contracts for services to provide community-based services for individuals diverted from the prison system and/or at high risk for future criminal justice involvement through the FY 2022 Targeted Community Alternatives to Prison Grant Program in the amount of $288,267.
The State of Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections created the Targeted Community Alternatives to Prison Program to provide funding to local communities as a result of changes to the Ohio Revised Code, which prohibits some fifth-degree felony offenders from serving a prison sentence in an Ohio prison on or after July 1, 2018. The resolution requests the approval of the following sub-grant awards under the FY 2022 and 2023 Tcap grant program. First will be Alvis Incorporation, facilitating Oasis Recovery Program in the amount of $60,767. Alvis Incorporation will utilize grant funds to operate a level 2 recovery house for justice-involved men with identified substance use disorders in Franklin County at their Oasis Recovery House located at 460 North Nelson Road. Housing will be provided for up to 24 residents at no cost for an average stay of 90 days. In conjunction with housing services, residents will engage in a series of evidence-based reentry and recovery programming that focuses on cognitive behavioral interventions in the areas of substance use, employment, and criminogenic needs. Residents will additionally have access to workforce development programs, industry-recognized certifications, and one-on-one case management and peer support services. Next is the Derek L. Owens Group Innovative Social Justice Program in the amount of $62,500. DLOG will utilize grant funds to provide services to residents from Reynoldsburg and Whitehall's mayor courts who have been charged with criminal and/or traffic offenses that could adversely affect employment, education, housing, or other core dimensions of social determinants of health and criminal behavior. DLOG staff will be present weekly at the respective courts to provide on-site case management and resource linkage services for residents. In addition, community-based brief early intervention groups will be offered to include supplements to AOD awareness, theft, intervention, responsible driving, and anger management. Successful completion of all court and program requirements will yield in record ceilings for residents, and funding will support services for up to 85 residents. Next is TAP Ohio, Training Advancement Placement Project, in the amount of $40,000. TAP will utilize grant funds to support their training advancement placement project designed to provide employment and reentry services for restored citizens in Franklin County. The program will reduce recidivism by providing services that help residents find meaningful work opportunities while simultaneously working through their unique individual barriers and basic needs. After participating in comprehensive job training provided by Columbus State Community College, residents will be placed within one of TAP's 12 local manufacturing partner agencies. In addition to employment placement, TAP will address several other individual barriers to reentry by providing transportation assistance, food assistance, housing support, work supplies, and child care resources. Funding will support employment placement and support services for 25 residents. Next is the Columbus Urban League Choose to Change program in the amount of $100,000. Grant funds will be used to support Columbus Urban League's Choose to Change community-based program designed to help residents successfully re-enter society after serving time in prison or jail. C2C is designed to assist residents with overcoming barriers to employment and self-sufficiency for upward economic mobility by providing a holistic and systematic approach that aims to reduce the likelihood of recidivism and future behaviors. Services are delivered utilizing a combination of individualized treatment planning, group sessions, and wraparound resources specifically designed for justice-involved individuals. Residents will receive one-on-one career coaching, obtain workforce readiness certifications, and work toward achieving personal employment goals. Funding will support services for 50 residents. Lastly, we have the Healthcare Collaborative of Greater Columbus, Prosecution Alternatives Towards Health, PATH program, in the amount of $25,000. Grant funds will be used to maintain and expand Healthcare Collaborative of Greater Columbus's partnership with City Attorney Zach Klein's office to comprehensively address the needs of residents that come before City of Columbus prosecutors via the Prosecution Alternatives Towards Health program. The PATH program will innovatively identify and address the reasons that led to an individual breaking the law, and in return provide alternatives to prosecution. Grant-funded community healthcare workers from various care coordination agencies will work with residents to develop diversion case placements custom for their individual needs in collaboration with the resident, attorney and public defender, and city prosecutor. Upon a resident's successful completion of their diversion conditions, the case is dismissed and an alternative to prosecution has been achieved. Grant funds will support programming for up to 40 residents. Please note the purchase order proof reflects the portions of the award that we anticipate will be liquidated during calendar year 2022. Pending any questions, we would seek approval of this resolution.
Thank you, Director Pride, for the presentation and how appropriate and timely, given that this is a reentry week. One of the things I like about justice and policy programs is our commitment and focus to this call in the bigger sense from a policy standpoint. I think it's unique as counties go in the work that we do. So all of these contracts are an illustration of our work and our partners that work with us to try to facilitate the reduction of recidivism in our community. And so thank you for your leadership and work here. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 332-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 33222 has been adopted. Resolution number 33322. Resolution authorizing 6 subgrant awards and contracts for services for juvenile justice and delinquency prevention programming under the FY 2020 Title V Community Prevention Block Grant in the amount of $171,000.
The Title V Community Prevention Block Grant Program provides funding to develop and/or enhance delinquency prevention programs that focus on helping youth avoid involvement in delinquency through reducing risk factors and enhancing protective factors in their schools, communities, and families, juvenile delinquency, and supporting the juvenile justice system. The resolution before the Franklin County Board of Commissioners requests the approval of the following sub-grant awards under the FY 2020 Title V Block Grant. The first program is All That CHIPS program in the amount of $37,478.06. Grant funds will be used to support All That's community helping individuals prepare for success, designed to provide at-risk youth with positive youth development programming. The program will incorporate the best practices of mentoring, AOD education, and academic/life skills assistance. The evidence-based curriculum used is designed to increase positive behaviors and protective factors and reduce risk factors. Youth will participate in individual and group sessions, family engagement nights, earn internship hours toward graduation, and partake in a series of pro-social community service activities. Funding will also support programming for 100 youth. Next is Big Brothers Big Sisters, community-based mentoring in the amount of $24,704.20. Big Brothers Big Sisters will utilize grant funds to create and support 38 community-based mentoring relationships for Franklin County minority youth ages 11 to 17 who have a parent in prison or jail. The mentoring program is an evidence-based program having received the highest rating of effective from the Office of Justice Programs. BBBS will provide one-to-one mentoring in a community setting for youth. The adult mentor will serve as a resource, support system, confidant, friend, and role model for youth to help decrease the likelihood of engaging in high-risk behaviors. In addition to providing mentoring services, BBBS will coordinate a variety of supportive services for youth and their families. Next, we have Breaking Barriers, Children of Valor, in the amount of $28,000. Grant funds will be used to support Breaking Barriers, Children of Valor pilot program that provides positive youth development programming to girls and families of color who attend Columbus Public Schools and reside in identified areas of concentrated poverty with Franklin County, including those involved in the juvenile justice system. Children of Valor is a comprehensive gender-responsible, strengths-based mentorship program where holistic trauma-informed practices reduce barriers resulting from the impact of trauma related to racial disparities that have historically and currently hinder young girls of color. Mentors will engage in structured activities to help reduce behavior and emotional problems in children by developing self-esteem, self-efficacy, and social skills. Funding will support mentoring and integrated systems, coordination services for up to 40 youth and families in Franklin County. Next is Capital University Tutoring Intervention in the amount of $9,100. Grant funds will support Capital University's existing tutoring program offered in the Juvenile Detention Center, led by university students majoring in education. The program will provide academic assistance for up to 29 youth referred to the 5-week tutoring program and/or America Reads Weekend Initiative. The tutoring program has historically yielded significant academic improvement for youth participants, with some students gaining as many as 9 grade levels during the program. As a result of the pandemic and current restrictions for programming within the facility, tutoring will continue to be offered virtually via Zoom by Capital Tutors. Capital will track future juvenile justice involvement of program recipients via their existing data sharing agreement with the Franklin County Juvenile Court. Next is Central Ohio Youth for Christ, at-risk youth in Franklinton, in the amount of $34,217.74. Central Ohio Youth for Christ will utilize grant funds to provide comprehensive mentoring and positive youth development services to 50 youth ages 11 to 18 residing in Franklinton. Mentorship programming will assist youth in engaging in self-evaluation and goal setting. Goals center around all areas of COYFC's holistic model, 4 of which civic literacy, relationship interaction, education success, and basic health and safety relate specifically to the delinquency indicators. In addition to mentorship services, youth will engage in various other pro-social service and program offerings at the City Life Center, including basic automated repair, training, cooking classes, teen parent courses, sports and recreation, homework help, leadership development, and financial literacy. Lastly, we have the Godman Guild Association Teen Program in the amount of $37,500. Grant funds will be used to support Godman Guild's teen employment and education network aimed at helping youth residing in the urban core neighborhoods of Wyland Park, grades 6 through 12, prepare for post-secondary success. The primary focuses on educating youth on STEM related career options and the necessary education, training, and experience needed to enter those careers. The program will additionally provide structured academic support, time dedicated to developing personal skills. During the daily academic support time, youth will have access to homework support from the program director, program coordinator, and social work intern from The Ohio State University. Activities focused on personal growth include one-on-one group discussions about how current trend events, both in the community and at home, are impacting participants and how they can navigate these situations. Funding will support programming for 50 youth. Pending any questions, we would seek approval of this resolution.
Thank you so much. Before you go on with the other two, I'll just say that's a very thorough description, and so you'll have to be as thorough in the description, so on the next two. But if there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of, and I got confused here.
33322.
33322.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 33322 has been adopted. Resolution number 33422. Resolution authorizing a contract with attorney Susan Kristoff for the purpose of providing temporary legal services in support of court-appointed special advocates of Franklin County volunteer guardians ad litem in the amount of $27,000.
Thank you. Like many businesses and government agencies, CASA has experienced staffing difficulties, losing 30% of its workforce since the start of 2022. Ms. Kristoff herself, as CASA guardian ad litem, as well as a licensed attorney, will serve as a temporary staff attorney for CASA. Among her duties will include assistance with client analysis for informal and uncontested hearings, and court reports, motions, and complaints, and other briefs. The contract is for the period of April 26, 2022 through April 26 of 2023, and will be supported with funds already budgeted for calendar year 2022. Please note the purchase order proof reflects the portion of the contract that we do anticipate liquidating during calendar year 2022. Pending any questions, we would seek approval of this resolution.
Great, thank you. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 334-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 33422 has been adopted. Resolution number 33522. Resolution authorizing a contract for reentry services with Impact Community Action through the FY 2020 Comprehensive Opioid Stimulant and Substance Abuse Grant Program in the amount of $42,500.
The Franklin County Board of Commissioners authorized receipt of an FY 2020 COSAP grant program in the amount of $1.2 million to support the sustainment of pathways achieving recovery by choice, as well as the Rapid Resource Center within the non-secured section of the Franklin County Correctional Center 2. To support the day-to-day operations of the pathways in RRC, the Franklin County Office of Justice Policy and Programs did contract with Impact for Community Action to dedicate one full-time equivalent to provide case management, group facilitation, and peer support services. The contract supports the continuation of a renewal contract with Impact Community Action in the amount of $42,500 for the period April 1, 2022 through September 30th of 2022, to support continuity of care from the jail to the community and the opportunity to utilize and link individuals to abundance of programs offered by Impact. Please reference the statement of work included within the resolution package for a detailed summary of the position responsibilities. Pending any questions, we would seek approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 335-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 33522 has been adopted.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too. Next is the Public Facilities Management.
Resolution number 33622. Resolution authorizing a modification to the contract agreement with DLZ Architecture Incorporated to provide professional design services associated with the planning, design, and construction of the Franklin County Correction Center at an increase in the amount of the contract not to exceed $146,800 in the amount of $25,224,400.
Good morning, Commissioners. Darla Reardon, Director of Public Facilities Management. Today, we have 3 resolutions that are all associated with the planning, design, and construction of the proposed Rapid Resource Center at the new Franklin County Correction Center. The proposed Rapid Resource Center will provide immediate access to wraparound services for newly released individuals with the goal of reducing or preventing recidivism. PFM and the construction team have been closely collaborating with the Office of Justice Policy and Programs on this initiative. This first resolution authorizes a contract modification with DLZ Architecture, Inc. to provide additional professional design services such as program validation and design for for the proposed Rapid Resource Center at the new Corrections Center. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this resolution.
Thank you. The only question I have is, did these funds come out of, this is Administrator, out of the bond proceeds, or is this just general fund, the increase? Is that?
This increase here would come out of the budget for the project, which would be the bond proceeds.
Okay, thank you.
These funds, Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator, yes, these funds will come out of the budget for the process, therefore they will be bond proceeds.
Okay, thank you very much. If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 336-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 336-22 has been adopted. Resolution number 337-22. Resolution authorizing a modification to the contract agreement with MS Consultants Incorporated to provide professional civil engineering services associated with the planning, design, and construction of the Franklin County Corrections Center at an increase in the amount of the contract not to exceed $52,700 in the amount of $1,424,199.
The second resolution authorizes a contract modification with MS Consultants, Inc. to provide additional professional civil engineering services for the proposed Rapid Resource Center at the new Corrections Center. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this resolution.
Again, the only thing I'll just quickly say is that given the reentry month recognition, this is an example of another investment that really goes towards recidivism and the reentry efforts to support those reentering and returning citizens. If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 337-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 337-22 has been adopted. Resolution number 338-22. Resolution authorizing a modification to the contract agreement with Gilbane Building Company, Smoot Franklin County Joint Venture to provide construction management services associated with the planning, design, and construction of the Franklin County Correction Center at an increase in the amount of the contract not to exceed $58,235 in the amount of $21,781,682.
This final resolution authorizes a contract modification with Gilbane Smoot to provide additional construction management services for the proposed Rapid Resource Center. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 338-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 338-22 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Great, thank you. Next is the Board of Commissioners.
Resolution number 339-22. Resolution authorizing the county administrator to approve community grants and contracts for services, supplies, products, and goods for an amount not to exceed $1 million.
Good morning, Commissioners. You have before you a resolution that the scope is limited both in scope and time to allow the county administrator to execute grants and contracts for services, supplies, and products in the amount not to exceed $1 million. Ohio Revised Code Section 305.30 provides that authority to the county administrator, provided there is a resolution in place. This resolution is basically a resolution to be used as an as-needed basis. As the commissioners know, there are times where this efficiency is necessary in order to make sure a contract moves forward or a grant moves forward based on the scope and time of that particular contract or grant. We don't anticipate this resolution being needed, but in case, this is a just-in-case type of resolution to make sure that we are moving efficiently and making sure the county business moves forward and that contractors do not suffer based on timing. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to address it, as will County Administrator. We'd ask that this resolution be approved.
Thank you, Ms. Hummer. I have one suggestion, one, I think, friendly amendment on this. I'll need to go into my litany of how I felt. First of all, thank you for how you presented this, working with me. but I would just add maybe an amendment that says this resolution has to be renewed annually, that it has to come back up annually.
It has a sunset provision already in it.
What's the sunset provision?
This resolution only remains in force till June 15th, 2022.
Perfect.
48 days of.
48 days.
Perfect. Thank you very much. If there are no,
Just one more clarification, a point that's included in this resolution, Commissioner Boyce, Commissioner Crowley. Also, this resolution calls for me to issue a report of any grants or contracts authorized under this resolution on June the 15th.
perfect.
So I'll be working with I've already talked with our clerk and our prosecutor's office, and we'll be having that report ready. Like, we want to push a button in it.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Okay.
I have a question.
Please.
Does this limited authority impact any contracts or grants that require a signature by the board president?
It should not.
Okay, thank you.
Just to be clear, what we will be doing is for anything that may fall under this or necessitates a signature, we will always look at the statutory requirements of what is required. For instance, there are some actions by the Board of Commissioners that has to occur by the board, and the county administrator is prohibited by statute not to execute. So we will make sure of that.
Excellent. All right. If there are no further comments or questions, move for further comments or questions? Move for adoption of 339-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 339-22 has been adopted.
All right, that concludes our regular agenda. Are there any generalizations?
There are not, Commissioner.
Okay, well, that concludes our meeting. Are there any questions from members of the media who are on the phone call today? Okay, seeing that there are none, that concludes our meeting. Have a great week. Thank you. All right.